Adding human oversight to your Zaps ensures that your automated workflows run with fewer errors. Now, with the Continue Zap button in Zapier tables, you can add a crucial human checkpoint to any Zap with a simple manual approval step. Today, I'm going to show you how it works. Hi, I'm Tom from XRay.tech, the workflow company. At XRay, we design and implement workflows that seamlessly blend automated tasks with manual processes. If you'd like to learn more about XRay and our services, just check out our website at xray.tech. To see more automation tips and tutorials every week, like this video and subscribe to our channel. And turn on notifications so you don't miss a new way to save time. In this video, I'm going to show you how to add a Continue Zap button to a Zapier table. Then I'll demonstrate how you can build an automation that will pause itself until you approve it with a click of a button. We've gotten a few requests to explore this feature, so I wanted to create this tutorial to explore how it all works. Let us know in the comments below if there are any other automation concepts you want us to cover on the channel, and we'll be sure to check it out. Now let's get started. First, you're going to need to prepare a couple of things in Zapier. To begin, you'll need a Zapier table. This is where you'll add, configure, and use the Continue Zap button. Naturally, it's best if this table also includes the data you want to automate. In this tutorial and demonstration, I'll be using this team directory table. You'll also probably want to set up a Zapier interface with a form that connects to this table. This isn't strictly necessary, but it's the easiest way to add a complete record to a Zapier table and will make testing the automation much more convenient. Here's the full automation we're going to build. Whenever a new record is added to the table, our Zap will send an alert in Slack prompting us to confirm that the details of the new record are correct. Then it will pause itself until we click either confirm or reject. Based on our answer, the automation will go down one of the two paths and will send an appropriate message in Slack confirming our choice. Also bear in mind that you could always build a similar approval flow by just creating multiple Zaps. The first Zap could alert you to the new record, while the second Zap could trigger once you make a selection. However, it's never a bad thing to have multiple options for designing and building your automations, which is why we want to show you how this feature works. Once your table and interface are ready to go, you can follow along with me as I add a Continue Zap button and build a corresponding automation. To start, add a field to your table. This is the field that will contain your button. Give the field an appropriate name, like Approve Details. Then set the field type to Button. You'll see several customization options for this field, like icon and alignment. You can set them to whatever you'd like or leave them to their defaults. The most important setting is Type of Button, which you'll need to set as Continue Zap. The default choice will launch a Zap instead, which can also be useful, but it won't work for pausing and continuing a Zap. Next, you can provide labels for up to 2 buttons that will be included in this field. These labels should reflect the choices that you want to incorporate into the Zap and should indicate what actions will follow after they're clicked. In our case, confirm and reject will work. Note that if you don't include a secondary button label, then there won't be a second button in the field. However, I'd recommend including a second button. That way, you can make sure that you'll always press one button or the other, and your automation will reach a definitive conclusion rather than pausing indefinitely. Finally, click Create to add your button field to the table. Initially, the button will just have a warning that says, Set Up Button. That's okay. Just click on the button to continue setting it up. When you click on the button, it should open up the Zaps tab, which prompts you to create a new Zap to associate with this button. Click on Create to start building the automation. After clicking Create, Zapier will create a default automation for you. Zapier notes that the Continue Zap button is an experimental feature, so this could all change. However, in our tests, the automatically created Zaps have always looked like this so far. The trigger is set to New Record in Zapier Tables. The first action is Continue Zap button clicked in Zapier Tables. Then there are 2 paths that follow. One for clicking on the primary button, which is Confirm for us, and one for clicking on the secondary button. For us, that's Reject. The rules for each path are configured, but they don't contain any actions yet. You can edit this Zap to your liking, but it's important to understand that this Zap will work a bit differently than most automations that you build. The Continue Zap button clicked action kind of works like a second trigger. Any action that you put after the real trigger will run as normal whenever you add a new record to the table. But the automation will pause itself at this Continue Zap step and wait for your input. Once it receives that input, it will continue down the appropriate path. So if there are any actions you want to perform right away for every record, regardless of what button is clicked, place them before the Continue Zap step. Everything else can go into one of the paths. Apart from that one unique consideration, you can edit and configure this Zap like any other. For our example today, I'm going to start by testing the trigger to load in some data to work with. Then, I'll add a Slack step here to alert my team about the new record and ask them to check out its details. To make things easy, I'll include a link to the table where they can view and edit the records. Again, this Slack step is going to be sent for every record that triggers this automation, since it's placed before the automation pauses itself. Now, I'll test this step. It's a success, so I'll continue. Now I'll configure the first path. I'll review and test the rule, which is correctly set to only continue if the confirm button was clicked. I'll add an action to send another message in Slack alerting the team that the record's details were confirmed. I'll give this step a test too. Now, I'll do basically the same thing for the second path. I'll start by reviewing and testing the rule. Then, I'll copy and paste the Slack step from the other path to save some time. That way, I just need to update the message to say that the details are inaccurate and need to be updated. And I'll finish it off with one more test. Once your Zap is configured the way that you want and every step has been successfully tested, publish it. You'll need to publish your Zap to ensure that it connects with your table. For every existing record, the button should now say Send to Zap instead of Setup Button. This is because those records were added before the Zap existed, and so the Zap couldn't process them. This actually gives us a really convenient way to test out the Zap. Just click on Send to Zap for any of the existing records, and your automation should instantly run all of the steps before the Continue Zap pause. In our case, we instantly get the first Slack message prompting us to approve or deny the record's details, along with the convenient link. Note that neither message from the subsequent paths has been sent yet, so our automation paused itself correctly. Now I'll open up the link to view the table and make my choice. This record looks good, so I'll click Confirm. Instantly, I get a new message in Slack reiterating that the details have been confirmed. Great, the Zap ran for the new record, paused to let me make my choice, and continued along the right path after I made my selection. This is all fine and dandy, but I always like to run a live test before considering an automation complete. This just ensures that it runs exactly as expected in real-world conditions, which can always be a little different than tests. So I'll open up the form interface connected to my Zapier table and submit a new record. I want to test the reject button this time, so I'll submit a record with a deliberate mistake. Let's add Miss Francine Johnson to our directory, and I'll click submit. Once again, I get the same Slack message telling me about the new record and prompting me to check it out, so I'll do that. And since there's a typo in the name, I'll click reject. And now the appropriate message pops up in Slack saying that the record details aren't correct and need to be updated. Perfect. Now, there's obviously not much difference between these two paths as we've built them here, but this tutorial is really about demonstrating the underlying structure, not a full workflow. With this basic setup, we could add all sorts of actions to the confirm path, like creating onboarding tasks in Asana, sending an email, or whatever else we want. But once you've tested your automation and confirmed that it runs, pauses, and runs again as expected, you're all set. Manual approval just takes a few seconds, but it can drastically reduce errors and unintended automation runs. With the new Continue Zap button, no-code builders have another easy way to add a human checkpoint to their automations. Let us know what you think in the comments below. How do you like to add manual approval steps to your automations? What workflows do you have that benefit from a human checkpoint? Your insights could inspire one of our next videos. If you enjoyed this video, prove you're human, like and subscribe for more automation tips every single week. If you'd like to learn more about low-code automation and workflow design, follow us on LinkedIn, Twitter, or Facebook, and you can find all of our content on our website at xray.tech. You can find all those links in the XRay Workflow resources board down below, and as always, find your focus and stay in flow. Trying to future-proof yourself? Start designing the way your team works with no-code tools, automation, and AI. An XRay's workflow design course will show you how to break down every part of a process to find the best opportunities for automation, and how to seamlessly integrate those automations into your team's daily work. You'll learn how to create time for your entire team, get more reliable results, and give everyone a newfound clarity and confidence in their work. Go to course.xray.tech to learn more. The entire package includes over 2 hours of premium video content, challenging example projects, and tons of helpful resources. The course costs just $250 and gives you lifetime access to a Slack community of workflow designers building systems in dozens of different industries. Space is limited, so join the free waiting list to get notified as soon as the course is live later this year. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you soon in our Workflow Designer course.